Oh, what's up, family? Joshua Black here. Sorry, I'm running like a couple minutes late. Ripping and running as usual. But what's going on, family? I'm Joshua Black, the urban black vegan, America's favorite black vegan superhero. And this is the Adventures of the Broccoli Boy Wonder Show. Thanks for having me tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. Yes, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for checking out the show. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we're set. Thanks for checking out the show. I'm glad that you guys could join me this evening. Let me just make sure we got everything as it is supposed to be. Okay, good. I think we're good to go. Okay, hey Selby, how are you? Thanks for checking in. Yeah, so guys, tell me where you guys are checking in from. What part of the world? How are you doing? How was your weekend? What have you done? What hot vegan dishes have you eaten? But more importantly, tell me where you're checking in from. Let me know how the vegan scene is where you are. Oh, Angel, thank you so much. That was so kind of you. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? My breathing coach, my breath coach is on. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm loving the way the new Facebook group is going. Thanks to Tracy Cox, who is like making stuff happen. And I just must say, I am so crazy envious because Tracy's always has like these dope spots where she does her meditation, right? I'm on there lurking, I'm checking out, kind of learning, trying to get more adapted to the whole meditation thing. But I just want to thank you guys for joining our Facebook group, which is Vegans Who Meditate. And if you haven't joined yet, please join. Just a couple questions. Want to know if you're vegan. Not that it matters, but we kind of want to know if you're vegan, and then we'll let you in, and then you can enjoy some of the stuff, some of the information that Tracy and others are sharing about meditating. I am kind of like a fly on the wall, just taking it all in. And I think I commented one time on one of Tracy's posts when she said, "Oh, this will be where I will be meditating today." And I'm like, it's all serene and peaceful. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I find myself meditating in my car when I'm sitting in traffic, or I pull over for a minute and I just close my eyes and just kind of like recognize and appreciate breathing for like a minute, and then I'm gone. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to meditate, but that's what I've been doing. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. But thank you so much, Tracy, for making that group happen, for like joining forces with me to kind of like spread the word about meditating and the importance of meditating. So guys, if you're not a part of Vegans Who Meditate, please join. It's a Facebook group. It is open to all. It is a private group. So with that being said, I hope all is going well with you guys. I had a very interesting weekend. Tonight's topic of discussion, well, before I even get into that, because just in case there's some new people who have not joined the show or seen the show before, my name is Joshua Black, urban black vegan. I have a YouTube, Facebook, Instagram channel. We talk all things plant-based, all things veganism. We're not always talking about recipes. You can find that on any other vegan channel or vegan group like around the world, right? Because most people just focus on the food. But we come together here. I try to do this every Monday night, and we come together to talk about things outside of the plate. You know, because there's so much more to being plant-based or vegan than just what's on the plate. You know, I've seen it, the vegan mac and cheese, the vegan this, the vegan that. That's all cool. But let's talk about reasons on this, why we do what we do. Why are you doing this? What's your why? What motivates you? What keeps you motivated? That's what we're talking about on this particular show every Monday at 7:45. But tonight, what I wanted to talk about was veganism, but I wanted to talk about the issue of, I don't know how to put this without being blunt, black and white issue. You know, like I just like in my city, I'm in Philadelphia. Make sure you guys let me know where you are, where you're from. But in my city, it's the vegan community or plant-based community is very much segregated, meaning there are events that black vegans have, there are events that majority white vegans have, and then sometimes they come together, but it's rare. You'll go to a white vegan, some events in certain parts of the city where there's nothing but white people and I'm the only black person there. I'm still going to go. I'm still going to absorb some information. I still want to learn and connect. I still want to learn and connect regardless of, who's there. White, black, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. But I'm always concerned. I'm not concerned, but I'm curious. Why is it this divide? Or is it just the nature of being? Like black people, white people, we come together. We can only come together in certain circles, or when we do, there's always going to be some type of separation, or maybe it's not a thing. Maybe in your community it is like a all together, all big one pot, but not so much in Philly. And it's interesting. I go to different events, and recently I went to an event. Well, it was more of a conference, the Future of Food Conference. It was at the University of Penn, which is an Ivy League school here in Philadelphia. And it was very, very interesting. Oh, hey, Kimberly, how are you? Let me just say hello to some of the people who are checking in. Hello, Kimberly, how are you? Angel, I said hello to you. Clarista, how are you? Selby, I said hello. Angel. Okay, hello to everybody. Make sure you guys connect with each other, because it's not just about you connecting with me. It's about you connecting with other people in your group or in your surroundings, trying to learn from each other, because I don't have all the answers and everyone's experience is different, and that's how we can all learn together, right? But back to the topic that I wanted to talk about this evening. And folks, we're open to everything. I'm just going to throw some topics out there. The one is the racial divide within the vegan community. Is it a real thing? Is it a real thing, or is it just something that's like here in Philly that I'm experiencing, but it's not really a real thing throughout? So I wonder about that. Even with the Facebook groups, I've seen a lot of the groups. There's a few groups that I belong to where the majority of posters or members in those particular Facebook groups are not black. And then there's some groups I belong to that are specifically black. And then there's some groups that are kind of like a mix. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic that I've been noticing on my vegan journey. Not that it matters one way or the other, but in a sense it does matter. And I'm going to tell you why to a certain degree. Like I went to this event, which was the Future of Food, which wasn't designated as a vegan event, but it was definitely plant-based centric, meaning the information all stemmed from plant-based eating and plant-based living and, feeding the world via a plant-based diet. Now, there was about 100 people at this event. This was in Philadelphia. I was out of 100 people that was at this 3-day conference. I was one of 3 black people there. There was no black people on the panel, no black speakers, no black volunteers, no one else. Okay. Now, I'm so used to it that I don't even feel uncomfortable anymore. But why is it like that? This is a conference that's available to everybody in Philadelphia. I just happened to be able to go thanks to my vegan friend, Dr. Duffy, who invited me. I was so thankful he invited me. But I also believe that Dr. Duffy, my friend Dr. Duffy, invited me because he knew I was going to challenge some of the promoters or people who put the event on. And I'm just wondering, is it me or is it really a thing? Is there really a divide in veganism, black and white? I just want to know. What do you think? But what else is going on with you guys? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? I'm going to throw out topics. I'm going to try to get some feedback. The show tonight is kind of unstructured, so there is no one specific topic that we need to stay on, but I definitely want to make sure that we touch upon certain things to kind of spark conversation. More or less, the goal is to maybe just get people to think, like to stir up your thinking. And I want us to be able to do more than just talk about how to make, I don't know, seitan, I mean, we can do that anytime. You can go on YouTube and just pop in keyword seitan and you'll find 100 recipes. But we want to go a little bit deeper. Let's talk about the reasons. Let's talk about other things that are affected in our life on this plant-based journey. But we can talk about food too, don't get me wrong, because that's the one thing that we all have in common. Black, white, green, yellow, purple, it doesn't matter. Food is one thing that we all have in common. Let's see what we have. Hey Mahogany, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm not sure what part of the world you're in, but let me know. I'm going to read your comment. It says, I believe there's a divide, just like a divide in white, black feminism. Wow, that is very interesting that you brought up feminism, because I listen to a lot of talk radio, and then even within feminism, I know there is a lot of conversation of exactly what that is and who is included in black in feminism. And yes, there is a divide. And should there be a divide? I've heard arguments that there should be a divide in black feminism. So that's very, very interesting. So I believe you're absolutely onto something there. So thanks for sharing, Mahogany. I really appreciate your comment. Oh, Pittsburgh. I've yet to be in go to Pittsburgh. I'm right here in Philly. I think Pittsburgh's not that far. How's the vegan scene? I haven't heard a lot of vegan plant-based stuff going on in Pittsburgh. But although I know that there's a conference that happens in Pittsburgh that I had called out the promoters, because there was a conference about 20, it's a huge conference, about 20 different speakers, and not one speaker was black. I didn't understand why. Now, please understand, I'm not one that says that we, as far as black people, need to be included in everything that everybody else does, right? But we need to understand that there is information at these conferences and gatherings that are vital to our survival, that's vital to our health. So in the fact that we're excluded, or we don't have representation or people at these conferences or at some of these events, we're unable to gather the information that can be useful to our community. So that's why I'm so focused on attending these conferences and making them feel uncomfortable about the fact that they don't include people who really need this information. So yes, thank you, Mahogany, for adding your voice. Okay, so Mahogany says, oh, you're a Chicago transplant. Oh, Chicago is a big city. I love big cities. I love New York. I love Philly because we're a big city. And Chicago is on my list of cities to go to, because I just love the bigness, the grittiness, the griminess, the friction, the energy that big cities kind of present. So Chicago is definitely on my list. Clarista. Here's her comment. It says, I have found that there is an initial challenge with veganism because many of the foods that would identify with the black experience are so unhealthy, and people have a difficult time re-identifying. You know what? You have a great point there, and I find myself struggling a little bit because I don't co-sign a lot of the vegan soul foods because they're so unhealthy. And I think, although I am so glad that a lot of people are transitioning and finding ways to do this not this vegan thing, right? They're finding ways to do this vegan thing, but because of the fact that they can fry anything and everything, I don't know. I'm a little conflicted with this. I'm glad that they're doing the vegan thing, but I'm so like, I don't know. I'm hopeful, and that's why I do this show, that people will find a way off of some of the unhealthy stuff and stop being like, I don't know, drawn in specifically just because they can take a piece of cauliflower and dip it in flour and fry it and pretend it's a piece of chicken. I hope their reasoning for going vegan is a little deeper than the fact that they can imitate like unhealthy food, unhealthy meat with unhealthy vegan food. I hope that's not the reason they're doing it, because they can just be just as unhealthy, not as unhealthy, but they can be just as unhealthy with vegan food, and the fact that they feel as though they're not losing anything, although they're not gaining anything either. So I don't know, a little conflicted with that, but thank you for sharing, Clarissa. I appreciate your voice. Yes, I do. Yes, keep the comments coming. All right, so Mahogany she says, I agree. So how do we promote Black thought leaders to attend these conferences? Is it not enough to just, I gotta move so I can read the whole, it is not enough to just challenge. We got to network to get us represented. Yes, you know what? Mahogany, you're so right. Because I tell you, I went to this conference, the Future of Food. I was one of 3 or 4 Black people there. And that includes speakers, volunteers, coordinators. I was just one of few. So I had an opportunity to learn so much. Listen, I did not know, or maybe you guys know, but I would love to hear, does anyone know what clean meat is? Like, we got plant-based meat, we got vegan meat, and then there's a thing called clean meat, right? And they had, at this conference, there was representatives from, what is that, the Impossible Burger and a few other places, like all these national brands that you hear about. And they talked about some of the technology. Well, they're called biotech companies that, these are companies who are creating meat in a lab. They're called biotech companies, right? And these companies were there talking about some of the advances in the area of clean meat. I never even knew what that term was. So I was I felt as though I was like, wasn't supposed to be there, but I was there, and I was getting like all this information that maybe I shouldn't have been getting, but I was getting, and I was like, great. I couldn't write down enough notes because my goal was to take this information and come back and share it with people who weren't able to attend, didn't know anything about it. And yeah, but there's so much. So if anyone out there knows what clean meat is, I would love to hear what you believe it is. And I'll tell you what I learned from this conference. But yes, I do, Mahogany, I do agree. We just need to do more. See, I know on my timeline, this is what I see on my timeline. I see a ton of, and when I say timeline, I'm talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Now, we're all slaves to the algorithm, meaning what we like is going to be what we get. You know what I mean? So if you're liking a lot of nonsense, a lot of plant-based stuff, a lot of black this, black that, that's what's going to flood your timeline. Unless you do something different and start seeking out information from others so you can get that information as well. So that's what I do. So I am able then to get a little bit of information trickling in from others that lets me know about what's going on. And so once I do find out about what's going on and following certain people, so I can stay in the know, I am then alerted about certain things. And that's how I get to attend these different types of events. We just have to be strategic, Now, there's a lot of people who you advocate on behalf of animals and a healthy planet and healthy food and whatnot. I advocate for my community. So I need to be out there and to find the information to bring back to the community. If more of us can do that, let's seek the information out and bring it back to our community. We have to be proactive in that. People can join PETA, that's fine, but there's other ways to activate your activism. That's what I'm saying. I don't mean to be so long-winded, but there's other ways. And so, to make a long story short, we had to do more. We need to do more to help our community. We need to do more than just posting pictures of White Castle and its, Wonder Burger or Incredible, whatever that Frankenstein burger is. We need to do more than posting the newest burger or, oh, I just ate at this vegan restaurant. Oh, look at my vegan dish. We need to do more than that. And if that's all that you're doing, I'm calling you out. You should be doing more than that. Because the only way, you're not helping the community. Let me say this, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. You or no one else is helping the community by posting a plate of fried, I don't know, I always say cauliflower because everyone loves those buffalo wing things, right? A fried cauliflower with a side of fries and a bowl of rice or some nonsense or a potato. You're not doing the community any favors by promoting unhealthy food. I don't care if it's vegan or not. You're not doing community a favor. Or at least if you're going to promote that stuff, you should put warning. This is not healthy, but it's good. I could respect that. But just to continue to post unhealthy food is not helping our community. I'm going to put it out there, right? I'm just going to say right now. It's just not helping our community. Hey, Angela, thank you so much for your comment. I'm going to read the whole thing. I love when you guys, I'm going to try my best to get to everyone's comment. I'm going to try my best. But if not, please leave a comment because it's not just me who's reading it. It's other people. Other people might want to respond to a comment that you're making, a point of view that you're making. Let's keep the conversation going, not with just me, but amongst everybody. We're having a big giant conversation. Everyone, just jump in. Let's talk. Let's figure things out. Let's challenge beliefs. Let's challenge thought. Let's be critical in our thinking. That's what this here show is about. This here vegan show is different from others because I'm not just trying to show you how to make vegan sausage or a vegan burger. You can do that anywhere. Or I'm not going to No, that's not what this is about. We are critical. We are going to use our ability to think critically about subjects pertaining to a plant-based diet. Okay, so Angela, let me get back to what you have to say. So Angela says, I believe that eating healthy is another way black people are kept down. There's so much info that we don't know and that we're not privy to. Example, as a youngster, I would go to a white friend's house and their dinner would be broccoli, baked chicken, brown rice, and a dinner roll. So different from the typical dinners at my house, also known as soul food. Angela, I couldn't have said it better. I didn't even have the opportunity to see what others were having for dinner. But what you described was not what I ate. My dinners when I was younger, consisted, and this is no knock on my mom, because my mom is a phenomenal cook, a phenomenal homemaker. Just phenomenal. She set the bar so high that no one, I'm going to say this again, no one can reach that bar. Okay, just phenomenal. 3 meals a day, lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day. Every day. With that being said, my dinners consisted of, there was always a protein, which either chicken, beef, or pork chop, something like that, right? There was always a starch, like a mashed potato or rice, and then maybe there was a vegetable. In most households I knew of, it was either some kind of collard green or something like that, or string beans or something like that. And my mom would just put it together. It was always amazing, no doubt about it. But that experience is so different from the others. or there was fish, or everything was deep fried in grease, or something like that. I mean, these are the experiences that I had, and I think a lot of other black people had very similar experiences where their mom or whoever that person was that was doing the cooking could like really, really cook. But it was all rooted in what's called so-called soul food. And what's happening now is that we're transferring that same thought, a lot of people are, to vegan food. Like vegan soul food. So you still got the same stuff without the animal. Yes, it's a little bit healthy. It's a little healthier, but it's not healthy food. Now, as far as information, when you say we're not privy to it, I think we are, but we just are unaware. See, like, we don't know what we don't know. And that's what's so frightening. There's so many advances in technology as far as around food and information around food that we don't know about. And we're like slowly falling behind. Or we're just becoming prey, and we're easy to prey upon because we don't know. And the information, listen, they're not going to knock on your door and say, hey, there's this event about the future of food. Do you want to come? We had to seek this information out, and we had to do it through some kind of network or shows like this where we can share information. Like if there's something going on in your city or your town or your neighborhood or your block, or if you're doing something, please list it, because this is the way that we're going to, stay on top of the information, or otherwise we're going to just become prey to whoever wants to prey upon us. The fast food industry, even places like Planet Fitness. I gotta say this. I was at Planet Fitness. This is a prime example of corporations just looking to prey on communities who are unaware. I'm not even going to say black communities, but people who are ignorant and unaware. Now, Planet Fitness, I go there because it's super cheap and they're open 24 hours. I go there the other day, and they have what's called once a month. I walked in, and to the side, they had bagels, cream cheese, just like all this Dunkin', like a little Dunkin' Donut setup. I was like, what in the world? And then above that, a little sign that said, we just want to show our customers, we just want to thank our customers and show our appreciation. Come to find out, they get once a month, they do this thing with like cream cheese and bagels in the morning. And then they have a pizza night where they have all these pizzas totally free. So you work out and then you go get a pizza. Now, they also give out like little Tootsie Rolls. I thought that was bad, but this took the cake. They truly believe that they're doing us a favor by giving us pizza after a workout. Do they really care about your health? That's what I mean by being preyed upon. And the reason they do it, and they see that it's loved by their customer base, is because people keep eating it. So they say, we're going to keep doing it. It makes no sense, but it's because of our ignorance and lack of knowledge that we fall prey to things like that. But thank you so much for that comment. I'm going to try to read, because you guys are really dropping some great comments and some point of views, and I want to make sure I can try my best to read as many as I can. So Clarista says, definitely, Business 101. Business 101 says that since this segment of the market is projected to grow exponentially, then yeah, that's why I love whole food plant-based label better. Yes, whole food plant-based label, that's what I am. Now, here's the thing with that. A lot of people get confused on vegan, plant-based, whole food plant-based. These are different segments within, I want to say the vegan community, if you want to say vegan community. These are different segments, and we have to understand the difference. But as long as we stay, when I say we, the the community, I'm part of the black community, as long as we stay ignorant to what's going on, ignorant to nutrition information, and we just continue to follow trends. And right now, being vegan is a hot, sexy trend, right? And we just follow the trends. We don't know the information, but we follow these trends. We are going to become victims. We are going to be prey. We're going to be just there to be preyed upon. And it is a segment, just like you said, Clarissa, it's a segment that is growing, and people notice that it's growing, and that's why we get White Castle selling veggie burgers, Burger King selling veggie burgers, McDonald's selling veggie burgers, and the list goes on and on and on. That's the reason. That is their answer to the trend of people going vegan. They say, oh, you want to do this vegan thing or plant-based thing? Okay, well, we're going to make something that's not healthy, but we're going to give it the perception of being healthy, and we're going to keep you where you are. It's devious when you think about it. But thanks, Clarissa, for that information. I love that comment. Hey, guys, make sure you read some of the commentary that people are dropping, because there's nothing but knowledge being dropped, and I'm trying my best to get to them. Hey, Kima. Kima, I love that hair. Anyway, so Kima Wooten. I have a friend who lives in Philly. Her last name is Wooten. I wonder if there's any relationship. Anyway, and her name is Faye. Anyway, Kima, let's see what you have to say. I am creating a presentation to present to predominantly black churches about the alternatives. Let me see. Alternatives to animal-based foods. Most important part of the presentation will be the health aspects and showing how a whole food plant-based diet affect health. So many of us believe that hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease run in their families. I will show that it's much more likely dietary choices. Can't wait to share what I'm learning. Yet, Kima, I wish you nothing but the best in trying to make that presentation, but I'm going to be very curious on how it's going to be received, because a lot of people in the church will refer to the Bible. They will try to say that it's Bible to eat certain things. And they will try to, through their interpretation, prove their point. So I will be very curious on how it is received. It's a funny thing. Recently I did a video on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you know the video I did about church. I had a young lady that came to me and had invited me to church fundraiser. It was like a fish fry or something. So in the video, I kind of because I only have a minute to do a video on Instagram, but this is basically what's the video. I said, listen, I can't see myself worshiping upstairs, right? Worshiping upstairs and then going downstairs only to have a pastor pray over dead fish and then tell me that is for the good of my body, blessing the fish, blessing dead fish for the nourishment of my body. That makes no sense whatsoever. And if anything, it seems a little satanic, that we're going to pray over dead animals, and then as part of the ritual, we're going to put it in our mouth and we're going to give money to have the privilege to put a blessed dead animal. I said, that seems satanic to me. That doesn't seem normal. I can't do it. So I'll be very interested, Kima, to hear what the response is, because whenever I talk to church folk or people in the church and I tell them that I am vegan and they say, why? I said, the reason I say so because I just don't believe in torturing living things. They have no comeback after that. Not that I'm trying to start an argument, but you asked me, why am I vegan? One of the reasons is because I don't believe in bringing harm or torture to living beings or living creations of God. I just don't believe it. Yes, I do believe in God, but I don't believe in torturing his creations. So good luck with that. Please check back and let us know how that presentation. Oh, and what part of the world are you in Philly doing that? Because I would love to join in and help you out with that. So let me know. Okay, Tracy from Chicago. Okay, Tracy says, let's read Tracy's comment. I think there's a misconception that vegan equal healthy. The reality is that vegan can be just as unhealthy as meat-based diet. Now, being vegan is the popular thing to be, and big business is picking up on that. That's why you see all the restaurants are hopping on the bandwagon. Yes, and you're going to see even more restaurants. Listen, there was a time, I've been doing this vegan thing this is going on 8 years. So I've been doing this for 8 years. And there was a time when there was not any, you would go to a restaurant and there was no vegan options. Like you would just end up getting a salad or something like that. And that was dangerous because of the fact that the salad dressings, for the most part, were not vegan. So it made it very tough. And usually I would just end up eating toast or something like that. I went to breakfast the other day and that's what I had, toast and some hot tea. But anyway, but now you can go to the Cheesecake Factory and they'll have, at least most places will have at least a veggie burger. A veggie burger, right? But most places are going beyond the veggie burger thing. And there's like, I think we have a vegan restaurant pop up at least once every couple weeks here in Philly. That's how popular it is in Philly. So I agree with you 100%. The trend, restaurants and big business has figured it out and they are jumping on it because here's the thing. They also know that this vegan thing, like plant-based vegan thing, whatever you want to call it, whatever catchphrase you want to use, they have figured out that they can charge more just because it's vegan. They can charge more. And they don't even have to claim that it's healthy. All they need to do is say it's vegan and maybe put a plant or their vegan options. They'll put a green plant by all the vegan options on the menu to give you the perception that you're eating something healthy. But you're not. It's not healthy for your body. It's not healthy for your wallet because they're usually charging more and it's usually probably cooked in tons of oil. So it's just bad all around. So we have to be on our toes if you're trying to have a whole food plant-based diet and trying to really live right. When I say live right, like treating your body right, treat your pocket right, and treating the planet right, we have to be careful. Thanks for your comment, Tracy. Hey guys, make sure you guys, if you haven't, join my Facebook group that's managed by myself and Tracy Cox out of Chicago. It is called Vegans Who Meditate. It's on Facebook. Please join. If you're listening to this here show or if you join me here on the show, it's going to be more like-minded people. Tracy, who is top-notch in providing and sharing just a ton of information on meditating. Yes, it is a very enjoyable group, so please check it out. Okay, Kima, let's see. It says, very true. It will surely be an uphill battle. You know me as a black, natural, plant-based. Oh, that's you. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was you. Well, hello. Now I know your actual name, Kima. Yes, Kima, you are doing the thing on YouTube. I have not been on YouTube for a little bit. It's just been so extremely busy here in Philly doing this thing and advocating for my community. I have so much going on. I just hope that I can assemble some type of small team. I've been doing everything from cooking demonstrations, YouTube Live. The list goes on and on, working with health organizations. There's so much going on and because there's so much work to do because as people, we need to do our best to save our community. No one's like, listen, the government's not going to do it. It's only going to get worse. We need to take this upon ourselves to do something to help our community. So YouTube, getting the message out, sharing recipes. If that's your lane you're in, that's fine. We need people to do that. Sharing information on events. just being a face for healthy vegan living, we all need to do our part. We all need to do our part. So yes, but I'm going to share one of these days on all the stuff that's going on. And hopefully I can get back on YouTube. It is definitely one of my plans. What's up, Andrew? How you doing? Thanks for joining. I'm glad that you stopped by, and hopefully I'm glad that you're adding your voice to this conversation. I'm just trying to go through some of these comments. There's so many. Let's see here. Let's see. It starts. All right, Kima. So you're actually in St. Louis, just enough south to really have some hurdles ahead of me. But I'm so ready to help. We need it. Yes. Do your thing in St. Louis. And how is there the vegan scene in St. Louis? Now I know the black church scene is everywhere. And you know what? If I could clone myself, I would try to tackle the black church here in Philly. It's just, we have a church on almost every block in Philadelphia. Mega churches, tiny churches, and them, different sizes in between. That is a huge area that needs attention. Churches. So I commend you and I bow to you, Kima. I think you're doing a great work. You definitely have some hurdles, but it's a hurdle you can get over. It might be a high hurdle, but I know you can get over. Just like, keep us informed. If there's anything we can do as a community to help your efforts out there in St. Louis, let us know. Start an email campaign, post on a church website, do web page or Facebook page, whatever we can do as a community, because I believe that if we act in numbers, we can make a change. Because we can't do it by ourselves. We can't. That's why I want people to, like you do. I know you do the Vegan Mama thing. You post it as far as a link to your YouTube page and your channel and all that kind of stuff. Post it, because I want people, we need to know that there's others out here doing things in different parts of the world. All right, Claresta, let's see what you have to say. Always thoughtful insight. It says, I also believe that we have the power. Let me move some things around so I can read your comment in full. I also believe that we have the power to determine our household atmosphere in terms of what we make available to our children. And as we learn more, being courageous enough to make changes and inform them why, not just about meat, but also processed foods, etc. Yes, you know what? And it's so funny you mentioned that, because I don't have any small children anymore, but I have a friend of mine who has a 5-year-old. And this is how uninformed, I wish I had started with my daughter and my son when they were so little, but I wasn't even vegan. I was ignorant to the information and what was going on when they were little. But for those who still have small children, I think it's very much important that we inform them. They're not too young to know. So I have a friend who has a 5-year-old. So one day, the 5-year, he wanted to go to McDonald's, and he says, Mr. Josh, I want to get a hamburger. Do you want something? I said, no, I don't eat animals. The way he looked at me was like, he could not make the connection. He could not make the connection that the hamburger came from an animal. You hear me? He could not make that connection. Now, just imagine, and most of the times, children are very sensitive because, they all love little animals, little furry animals and whatnot. But once they're able to understand that the bird, the chicken that chicken nugget is actually a bird. He actually had to stop, pause. He looked at me and he was trying to understand. So his mother, my friend, says, yes, that hamburger is a cow. he was messed up for a second because we start to ingrain in our children at a young age. We try to distance them from the reality that what's on their plate was actually a living thing. So they never make the connection that the chicken is a bird. But if we instead of calling it a chicken, if we say you call it what it is, call the burger a cow, call the chicken a bird. If we did that, listen, if we did that, I think it would have a deeper effect than we know on that child, because they're starting to form, their thinking is starting to take shape and starting to form, and they're starting to make connections that myself didn't have as a child, because I knew chicken as chicken. I didn't know chicken as a bird. I didn't have that connection. It wasn't that connective tissue that said that chicken is actually that bird. Or that bird in the sky is no difference from that piece of chicken, that dead chicken that's on my plate. Or the reason why the meat is red is because it's blood or it's flesh. That connection was never made. So I was, like most of us, we're conditioned when we're young to not connect these things together, not to have this connective tissue. So sad, but I think that's real. But yes, we have an opportunity now for those who do have smaller children to help them understand and make the connection. And most of the time, they want to, for themselves, they want to make the change. They're going to say, "Oh, I don't want to eat a bird. I don't want to eat a cow." We tell them, we have to be real with them. They can take it. Yes, that shrimp is like that roach that's crawling on the ground. The shrimp is the same thing, but it's in the water. If you ever look at a shrimp and you look at a roach, especially one of those big cockroaches, you're like, oh my God, they look like they're related, because they are. Okay, Mahogany, she says, people choose to be ignorant because it's too hard to be woke. Yes. And you know what? This word woke, that's what we use in our community, in the Black community. We use that so much. But I believe people are walking around with their eyes wide shut. I do. They claim to be so woke. They're politically conscious people. They are like pro-black this, pro-black that. Yes. But you know what? You're sleepwalking. Because if you claim to be so woke, how could you possibly put dead animals in your mouth? How could you possibly condone and support the destruction of your own community? There's a reason, like right here in Germantown. I live in Philadelphia. My studio's in a part of Germantown. And within Germantown, we have three, and this is a predominantly black area, right? Low to middle income. And we have three dialysis centers within blocks of each other. They're like very close. These dialysis centers have figured out, well, hey, you know what? We probably need to be in poor black or lower middle class neighborhoods, because that's where black people are. And it's the black people with the highest rates of kidney failure. So it makes sense for us to be there because they can get to us quicker. Because, dialysis, you got to go, 3 or 4 times a week, something insane like that. So they are actually becoming the new corner store. We used to have corner poppy stores, but now we have corner dialysis. It is absolutely insane. And this is all happening with our eyes wide open. Meanwhile, we're saying, police abuse this, and the cops are doing this, and Trump is that. Meanwhile, we're being destroyed by these corporations, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Planet Fitness, these corporations that are preying on our ignorance. While we're looking this way, they're like in our back pocket, literally in our back pocket. It's insane. So yes, people choose to be ignorant, even those who claim to be woke. Listen, I know there's going to be some mad black folk if you tell them, because I've told them, like, bruh, you are walking around with your eyes wide shut. And then people say to me, why you always black this? Just be vegan. Just be plant-based. Listen, if you are a woke, conscious, black, vegan, you cannot help but to speak out and to speak on issues and topics affecting your community. How can I possibly walk around in my community where we're a majority are overweight? Okay, let's call it what it is. Okay, I said overweight. You can, if you call it thick if you want, fluffy, curvy, big bone. Call it what you want. You're overweight, obese, and sick. How could I possibly walk around and think that that's okay and not speak up on it? By not speaking up on it, to me, is the definition of walking around with my eyes wide shut. Hey Robin, how are you? Health statistics are a result of actions. Yes, I do believe that too. Or basically what's going on, the health statistics that are currently out there is a result of inaction. The fact that we don't take action. Listen, you know what? I live in a community. I actually work in a community, which is in Germantown, which is the northwest part of Philadelphia. Now, this part of Philadelphia, like I said, is like low to middle, like low income to low middle class, whatever income. Anyway, it's not like a very ritzy area. Let me put it that way. And the majority of black people. Now, this area, any given day, it can be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. And through my neighborhood, like I try to run every day, every other day. I try to run as much as I possibly can. Now I can go to areas in Philadelphia like the Schuylkill. We have like waterfront kind of thing. You can run down there. But you know what? There's no one running or exercising in our community. So I make it a point to run through my neighborhood. Why? Because I want to show that black people, we can take our health in our own hands. We can take our fitness in our own hands. And maybe, just maybe, by me running through the neighborhood, the inner city, maybe it's planting a seed into someone else to say, you know what? I need to be out there. So I don't know if it works, but I know that when I'm driving around and I see people running, I'm like, man, I need to get out there. And hopefully I'm doing that for somebody else. These are ways that you can activate your activism. It doesn't always mean joining PETA. There's other ways and other things that can be done. Just think about it. If we can get more people to be active fitness-wise right in our neighborhood, I get tired of going to other neighborhoods and seeing 60-year-old, 70, 80-year-old guys and females and I see packs of young people. Packs, they're not black. I've never seen this in my neighborhood. Like packs, 10, 15 people just running through the neighborhood. You know, they're just running and exercising. Then I come back to my community where instead of running, we're claiming words like curvy and thick and big bone. And like making it okay to be overweight, making it okay to be obese. It's not okay. It's not healthy. It's what's killing our community, literally and figuratively. I'm not making this stuff up. This is not just my opinion. I'm not hating on people who are thick or curvy or whatever you want to call it. And when I say curvy, I'm talking about overweight. Okay, let's call it what it is. Let's stop giving it these pet names. Listen, I used to be a big, fat, big belly fat boy. I'm not going to say I was a big guy. I was a fat boy. That's what it was. Unhealthy, diabetic, fat. Let's call it what it is. Once we can acknowledge the problem, maybe we can take action on that problem. So yes, Robin, health statistics are a result of actions or inactions. Thanks for sharing. What's up, Jay? Thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you so much for adding your voice. Brother at work. Okay. Brother at work, here's your thought. I'm going to read it out. Let's see if we can spark some more conversation. Brother at work thought that veganism is a white thing. Had to show that many individuals of color who follow veganism, Milton Mills, Kim Williams, and more. Absolutely, Jay. And I'm so glad that you brought this up because here's another thing. Now, I had the information and I didn't bring it tonight, and my memory is faltering. But anyway, people who think that, they are so wrong. Let me explain a couple of things. I think it was 1938, 1940, 1938, 1940. I'm gonna come back to that, but veganism is a very much black thing, and if anything, it was started, like most things, was started with black people, not people of color. I'm going to say with black people, okay? And I believe it was 1938 or 1940. Haile Selassie, who was the king of, I should have brought my notes. I'll go back, but what I want you to do, Jay, do this for me, because this is kind of information you need to know when people ask you a question or they challenge the whole idea that veganism is for white people. Because veganism even the word vegan didn't come about till 1957, 54, something like that. Well before that, Untitled, which is a form of veganism that was practiced by Jamaicans, was around way before that. Okay, so do me a favor, look up Untitled, ITAL, and just look at the history. Look at when it was started. Look at what these brothers believed in. And that was something that was started in Jamaica. All right? So look that up. I hope that helps. I'm going to have my information right next time. Should have that on the top of my head. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Yes. I'm loving this. I'm loving this comment, so I'm gonna read it aloud so everybody can hear. It says dialysis centers, liquor stores, carryouts are almost staples in the black community. Almost. These are the staples in the black community. In most communities, you cannot. Oh, the only one thing that you forgot to mention would be fast food restaurants. Like in my community right here in Germantown, which is predominantly black. Low income to middle income, we have every fast food restaurant within, I would say, a minute of each other, 2 minutes of each other. We have everything. We have Popeyes. We have Kentucky Fried. These are like right next door to each other. Popeyes, Kentucky Fried, Wendy's, McDonald's. And then we have Dunkin' Donuts, which is nothing but junk food as well. And you can literally stand in one spot and see almost every one of them. That's how close they are. And the funny thing is that they all open up real close to each other like that. And they don't fear competition because they know they will attract their own audience. Each one like say, oh, I only like to eat at Wendy's. Like, oh, I only eat at McDonald's. And then there's those who like whoever has the best deal at the time. It is, and then right next door to them, literally right next door in my neighborhood is a dialysis center. And then right next door to that one is another dialysis center. This is insane. And if we continue to focus on just police brutality, when we are being slaughtered, literally slaughtered, we are being slaughtered by these corporations. How can we possibly win? How can you fight when you don't even have the strength to fight? How can you fight back if you're not even in good health to fight back? This is crazy now that I'm thinking about it. And you know what? For me, it makes me mad. It gets me going. It makes me mad. And I just hope that you guys can feel my energy, and hopefully it will like touch your core and get you mad as hell as well. And want to do something. Do something. I don't care if you're just posting on Facebook, leaving a comment. Do something. Do something. Just if you've been fortunate enough to receive information about plant-based living, if it has touched and changed your life like it's changed mine, you have a responsibility to share it with someone else, because someone else is suffering because they don't have the information. They haven't been privy to the goodness that you have, that you've stumbled upon or you found out about. They don't know. So we have to make an effort to share it with someone, because you never know. Your life example can change someone else's life. This is serious stuff. And this is why I do this show every Monday at 7:45. We try to talk about things that are outside the plate. Try to make people a little uncomfortable to feel as though like, you know what, I can do more. We need to do more. You know, recently someone asked, I went to this conference and said, oh, what do you do? And, you know, I told the people, I said, well, you know what, I advocate and try to raise awareness in my community. And then I said to them, then I also go outside of my community and try to raise awareness about my community. Meaning I am here at your event, raising your awareness about the fact that you are not touching people. Your event does not address issues concerning people who are suffering. And the whole vegan plant-based thing is about ending suffering. So how can you have an event that doesn't touch upon the people who are suffering the most? It's insane. And it really just... Let me take a deep breath and drink my tea. Okay. Let me calm down. I get a little hyped because I know there's so much work to do. But this is part of that work. Hopefully inspiring others to get out and to inspire others. But keep on listening information, comments and whatnot, because this lives on. People who can't watch it now can read through the comments, get a little gist about what's going on, and we can start to get this thing going, making change in our own communities, wherever you are in the world. That's why I always ask, how is your community? Where in the world are you checking in from? Please note that, because there are vegans out there who are, or black, plant-based, whatever you want to call yourself, that are on this journey and thinking that, you know, I'm just doing this by myself. You never know. There might be someone right down the block from you who is like, oh, I wish I knew someone else who is trying to make this thing happen. And then you two can connect, and then that energy can connect to other energy, and then we can get this thing going. Hey, Selby. Okay, Selby is right here in Philly. Okay, so black hair care products and not regulated by FDA is voluntary. Recent studies found toxic ingredients in them, linked to fibroids and cancer. Yes. You know what? I probably need to interview or bring someone here and talk to them about black hair care products. That's a whole nother world. I remember I did a video on YouTube, you guys can find it, about the whole being vegan, being natural, being true to yourself, being healthy, and then wearing a weave. I just asked the question. I'm not forming any opinion whether it's good or bad. That's not my place, because I'm not a woman, so I don't know. Women, do what you do. I love you guys for doing it, but I just had a question, like about that whole wearing a weave, but you're living healthy, but is it healthy? Wearing someone else's hair, is it healthy? Self-image? I don't know. I just wanted to raise the question. So yes, some of that hair care stuff, that's a whole nother world, a whole nother subject. I'm not even going to open that can of worms, because we can talk about that all night. But thanks, Selby, for sharing your voice. I appreciate you, as always. Oh, hey, Karen Smith, checking in from, Buffalo, New York. How is it in Buffalo, New York? How is the vegan scene plant-based, whole food, plant-based scene in Buffalo. Is there a scene? Do you guys have events? Is there a Veg Fest in Buffalo, New York? And if so, have you attended? Please share. Mahogany, can we get an Aldi's in these neighborhoods? Aldi's is organic and affordable. Yes, I love Aldi. That's my primary shopping source where I go for my groceries is Aldi. Yes, yes, yes. Now, those who don't know, Aldi and Trader Joe, one brother owns Aldi's, another brother owns Trader Joe. They're both from Germany. Each one, the style and the concept of the stores are very much German culture, meaning like they're very basic. Like you go into an Aldi, like you have to bag your own groceries. You have to, and then you go into an, also the other thing about Aldi is that everything is like their own brand. And that's very, Trader Joe is exactly the same way. They might have one or two things that are a national brand, but for the most part, Trader Joe sells Trader Joe products. Aldi sells Aldi products. They both have a commitment to healthy food. They're both small stores, very, very simple stores. That's because it's owned by the same family. Although the brothers don't get along, but you can see the similarities. So yes, Aldi is where I shop. Thank you so much. Now we're lucky. I'm in Philly and we have a ton of Aldis. And the great thing about Aldi, a little bit different strategy as far as their marketing opposed to Trader Joe, because Aldi is usually in inner city neighborhoods. We have them right here in the inner city and they're plentiful. It's probably the best kept secret because you can go there, you can find a ton of vegan food or plant-based food. You can find like some really healthy alternatives to meat. And they're really good. They're really good. Look, I found I don't eat bread. But once in a while when I do indulge, they even have the sprouted bread in an Aldi. Who would have thought sprouted bread in an Aldi? Yes. They even have Aldi. Now, you get me going to Aldi because I love that store. They even have, what is that? They have kale chips. Aldi sells kale chips. Yeah, I love that store. Thanks for sharing that information, Mahogany. I appreciate your voice. I'm trying to... Yes, I walked the 5K for the first time last year. There are some vegans, but very few to my knowledge, not in the inner city. Oh, okay. So I guess it sounds like you really don't have a community out there, but congratulations on that 5K. Congratulations on that 5K. Now I want to say this because I pride myself on being a healthy, fit, focused vegan. Okay, I believe that it's a three-pronged approach. Thanks to my friend in Chicago who brought this to my attention. I believe this a three-pronged approach. There's the food, okay. There is the mental part. Meditation, appreciating the way you breathe, appreciating the breath you take. So meditation, and then there's fitness. Three prongs to this thing. Three prongs. Now, not everyone has all three going on. Like I must admit that the meditation part, that's something I'm working on. And thanks to Tracy Cox, and thanks to my brand new Facebook group, and you guys are more than welcome to join. It's called Vegans Who Meditate. We talk about meditation, the vegan journey, and how they both kind of work together. I am learning about meditation thanks to Tracy Cox out of Chicago. She helps me moderate the group, and most of the time she's always posting, always sharing. She has that meditation thing down, so I so appreciate her. So if you want to learn more about meditation on this vegan journey, join my Facebook group, Vegans Who Meditate. All right, but yes, I'm so glad to hear that you popped that in there as far as a 5K, because it's very important to have that exercise component. That's a part of healthy living. So congratulations. I'm so glad, I'm starting to see, I'm so glad that you guys are communicating with each other. I don't have the capacity to answer every question or to check every comment. So if you guys have knowledge in certain areas and you see someone post, please help me by helping them, by jumping in and adding the information that you have. I've been vegan for 8 years. Well, it's going on 8 years. I was fat and unfit, diabetic. I weighed 260 something pounds. I lost that weight. Now I'm able to run. I'm off all medication. I'm feeling healthy, energetic, and just up to the challenge, of spreading the good news about being physically fit. So let me see if. Hey, Kimberly. Oh, yes, Little. Is that Liddy's or Lidl? Lidl is organic. Now, I've heard about that. Now, we don't have those in our area. I'm in Philly. We don't have that Lidl. I think it's spelled Lidl. We have one that's right outside of Philly. I haven't checked them out, but I know they are a competitor to Aldi. All right, Karen, let's see what you have to say. Karen Smith, I'm loving the fact that you guys are taking time to post these thoughtful comments. And I love reading. If it's a long, thoughtful comment that you're making, I'm going to read the whole thing. Karen Smith says, last night I went to a large supermarket chain to pick up fruits and vegetables, and the choices were lacking. And what was there was not fresh. I was appalled and wrote out a complaint, pointing out the suburban store has the best pick of fresh foods. They are supposed to be calling to hear me out, but honestly, I'm sure I will be given some nonsense excuse. As once I was told, a survey showed our community preferred frozen convenience food. Suggestions on what I can do to change this. You know what, Karen? This is what I suggest. You can continue to do what you're doing. Be the squeaky wheel. Make them uncomfortable. When I go to events that only have like one black person and they're giving out information that's life-saving and they don't have any representation of people, of black people there because we're the ones who need it, I find the sponsors or the promoters, I pull them to a side and I ask them questions that make them feel uncomfortable, to make them think that the next time they put on an event like this, please invite or seek out or reach out to people who are in desperate need of this information. I don't accuse them of being racist. I don't accuse them of being intentional on not including black people, but I want them to feel a little uncomfortable. I want to be that itch that comes about the next time so they feel as though, you know what, we better scratch that. If not, someone's going to come up and try to scratch it for us. And I'm that person. I'm the one who will be that black friend that they think about, hey, we better include because Josh is going to be there. And he will call us out on being, not being reflective of the bigger problem. And the biggest problem is the black community is suffering because we don't have the information and we are not being reached out to with this information. So continue to be the squeaky wheel, continue to be a thorn in the side, continue to be that problem. You know what? Continue to do that. And it might not happen overnight. It might not change immediately, but you know what? Okay, well, I'm going to say something again. And then I'm going to say something again. You'll be surprised. Eventually, they want to scratch that itch. Oh, Karen, you share all the information. That's great. There is a wonderful plant-based vegan truck, but it's not really available. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I read this. And I feel it's the biggest barrier. The inner stores on a bus line is not available. Yes, you guys, make sure you guys read these comments. People are dropping knowledge. And I'm trying to get to all of the comments. Running can be meditative. And once people understand that the ability to run long distance is in the lungs and not in the legs, I love running. Oh, Robin, you know what? I don't like running. But you know what? I run because of the benefits. You know, I know that the benefits are amazing. And I want to be, and I want to be benefit driven. I like, what is the benefit? And I need to do it. You know what? And you know, I might not love the process, like love it, but me and running have this love-hate. Like, I hate not running because I know the benefits I'm going to gain from running. So it's like this love-hate kind of thing between running and I, but I still try to run because I know the benefits not only to myself, but possibly to those who see me running, it could have. So that's why I run. Yes. And I just find running to be so boring, but I'm trying to do what you just stated. Meditate. Running can be meditative. And I need to figure that out. And that is why the group Vegans Who Meditate is helping me, because I don't meditate in a traditional sense, meaning I don't go find a quiet spot in my house and sit in a corner. I may be driving and pull over for a minute and just close my eyes and just try to tune everything out and focus on my breathing. Because Tracy just really kind of like drilled that into me, and it made so much sense to kind of like appreciate the breath. Just appreciate that breath that you take in. Something else that you're taking in. You know how vegan or plant-based people, we really appreciate, you appreciate the food and the fact that what the food can do to us, do to your body, do to your health. Take that same kind of thought and apply it to the breath, your breath. You take it in, how it comes out, the fact that we can't live without it. Very much like food, you can't live without it. And the one thing that we overlook, I know I was overlooking every single day and just took for granted, was my breath. Like feeling it, understanding it, stopping and showing appreciation for it. That's what I've been doing of late. So I don't get a chance to meditate in quiet little spots, but I'm trying to figure out a way to incorporate that into my life. See, Tracy agrees. Tracy Cox, my co-moderator on our Facebook group, Vegans Who Meditate, she even says you can meditate anywhere. It's all about focus. And yes, and that's what I'm trying to incorporate, just the focus. Like how I focus, like I'm so focused on community activism. I'm focused on the food. I'm focused on what's on the label. I'm focused on the ingredients. I need to stop and focus on quietness, regardless of what's going on around. It doesn't have to be physically quiet in order to be quiet. You know what I mean? I hope y'all understand that. Like, for me to be quiet, I don't need my physical surroundings to be quiet. It's like an inner quiet thing or an inner peace that I'm striving for. So it can be I can be on public transportation and I'm going to get quiet within me, and not being affected on what's on the outside. I don't know. Maybe, you know what, Tracy, I think I'm getting a little bit too deep sometime, even for my own good, but I'm going to master this whole meditating thing. So that's why I'm so glad that we started this group, because I've never thought about meditating like I've been thinking about it of late. I've tried to download the meditating apps and all that kind of stuff, but the fact that I brought it up on this show and we keep talking about it in our Vegans Who Meditate Facebook group, it's really been helpful. So I really appreciate you, Tracy, and I appreciate those who've also been adding in to the group, because it all helps everybody. It helps everybody. But yes, that's like, I had the fitness thing down on this whole plant-based journey. Like I'm really into fitness, running and jogging and all of that kind of stuff, going to the gym, and the food thing. I'm really intense about that. The one thing that was lacking was my meditation life, my inner peace. I'm still striving for that. And that's something I want. Now, not to say that I get them all going, I'm going to be like, I've arrived. I'm like the ultimate vegan guru. No, nothing like that. It's just that I want all three of those components working. You know what I mean? And I think my life would be just that much enjoyable. You guys are, the information that you guys are leaving is amazing. I can't even read through them all. I just love the fact that you guys are just sharing, because like I always tell people, listen, I've been vegan for 8 years. I have my own experience being a black male from the inner city, trying to do this thing and make it happen. That's one experience. Robin, you have another experience, and the fact that you're sharing is going to help someone else that can relate a little bit closer to your experience. And if we all kind of like share our experiences, our knowledge, our point of view, there may be other people who can relate to you and be inspired to keep pressing in. Because believe it, there's someone who's probably going to ask, like, I don't know if this plant-based vegan thing is too hard. I don't know if it's for me. And they might be able to read one of these comments. That's why I always ask you guys, leave a comment, leave a commentary. I don't care how long it is. Just leave something. Leave your voice, because we all have different voices in this thing. And this is how we can inspire each other. I truly believe that. And when I say inspire each other, I want to inspire people by doing more than just like posting a plate of vegan mac and cheese. Yeah, I mean, that's cool and everything, because we all have to eat. But let's inspire. Let's go deeper than that. That's like, let's do some deep sea diving with this here whole plant-based thing. Like, because we can really dig into the psyche of living this particular lifestyle and how it can help those in our community. That's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I think if you're plant-based, right? If you're plant-based or you're vegan or what have you, you've been blessed. You have been blessed. I've been blessed to find this lifestyle. But I also believe that any blessing that's given to us is just a blessing that we're supposed to pass on to someone else. And that's why I do this show every Monday at 7:45. I do miss some weeks because I'm just so crazy busy, and we'll get into that on another show. But we have to do something. You know what I'm saying? We have to do something. We have to wake those who are walking around with their eyes wide shut. I don't care how conscious you claim to be. If you're still eating meat and contributing to the harm, death of animals, you're not as woke as you believe. You're not. Oh, hey, Lauren. That's my friend from Atlanta. Lauren, who is like an amazing runner. Now, if you guys want to follow someone who is like inspirational as far as running, eating right, being super hyper focused, follow my friend Lauren Epps right here on Facebook. And I think on Instagram, she is the fasting vegan, right? The fasting vegan. Hey guys, other thing, if you have YouTube handles or if you have Instagram pages, guys, make sure you list them, because Like people like being with like people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, so we can get this dialogue going on outside of just this here Monday thing that I do. Like, so list your Instagram handles. You can follow me. I'm at Urban Black Vegan everywhere. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Urban Black Vegan. And please list because I would love to follow you guys too. Okay, Jay, let's see what you got to say, bro. It says, create first plant-based dining hall in the U.S. Army. I'm a Army food advisor. Oh, that's awesome news. Man, I can just imagine. I'm trying to imagine what type of challenges you had to make that happen, Jay. That is interesting. You're an Army food advisor. That's interesting. Oh man, I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome news. Thanks for sharing that, Jay. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you're doing. Yes, let's all collect. We're all vegan, plant-based friends. You know, I'm giving you my Instagram, Facebook handle, which is Urban Black Vegan. You guys post yours. Let's be friends. Hey, Tracy, yes, I have been listening to the guided meditations you've been posting. I've been listening. I've seen you do your live. I have to jump on board and do a live. And we need to maybe talk about doing something together, maybe some kind of live together that we can do within the group, only for those who are in the group. And if you're not part of the group, please join. It's Vegans Who Meditate. Tracy is super active. She's more handling that group. I'm kind of learning from her. But yeah. Oh, what's up, Garrett from Huntsville, Alabama? What's going on in Huntsville? How is the vegan scene in Huntsville? And also, if this is a vegan scene, is it like in Philly, is very much segregated? Is it a segregated vegan scene in Huntsville? Or is it just one big happy family? Do you have a lot of vegan restaurants, vegan festivals? Like, what's the scene like in Huntsville, Alabama? Because you know what? A lot of times you just hear about the big cities. Like, you hear about Philly, Veg Fest, and New York has tons of them. Then I think there's a Veg Fest or some kind of health festival in California on the West Coast, like every week. I mean, every major city has a health festival. But what about the little cities? What about cities like, not little cities, but what about places like Huntsville, Alabama? What about cities like Houston? That's not a small city. I know Atlanta does this thing, but what about other cities? There's other things going on, because black people, we live everywhere, but I wonder if the whole vegan scene is everywhere. Listen, if you if you want vegan friends, I am going to read it out loud so people can hear it. So, of course, Kima, now that I know your real name, friends. Okay, so please send Kima friend request at, her IG is black_plant-based_mama. You want to learn some stuff? Follow my vegan friend Kima. And YouTube is Black Natural Plant-Based Mama. Okay, OKC is rising. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Has there been any Veg Fest out there in OKC? Just curious. I haven't seen anything. I try to follow all this stuff. Yes, Lauren, a lot of people already follow Kima. I just never knew her name was Kima, but now I have a new vegan friend. Actually, you know what? Kima, I might even have you as a co-host on one of my shows here. Maybe I can get you on board and we can talk vegan food. That might be fun. Yes, I love okay, yes, that's the fasting vegan. The fasting vegan. on Instagram. That's my vegan friend in Atlanta, Lauren Epps. If you love running, or if you're trying to get into running, fasting, all types of fasting, follow Lauren. And also she's into the documentaries as I am. What's up, Andrew? Filmmaker Williams. Meditation, also fitness to the brain. I like that. Meditation as a form of fitness for the brain. But I think also that meditation is fitness for the brain and the body. Because when that calmness, you know what? I find myself more and more just talking about meditating. But anyway, but when that calmness kind of like takes over, your brain is at rest, but also it's something with the body just kind of like feels, it's the stillness. Because if you think about it, unless we're sleeping, like this conscious stillness, right? I'm talking about conscious stillness. Like when you just stop, consciously stop. It's something that is mental and physical. It's like this weird combination that all works together. So I'm having fun with this meditation thing, as you guys can see. All right, let's see what we have here. Yes, you guys, since you guys ask questions amongst each other, because this is the way we're all learning, because I may not have all the answers, but if you guys can ask questions to each other, and then we can learn from those answers, and then we can join into your side conversation along with the conversation that I'm having. Yes, Lauren, you should be in this meditation group. Someone just talked about running as a form of meditation. Now, I usually run by myself. Now, Lauren, I know that you have like running buddies. I don't know if you always run with friends, but I usually run by myself, so I can definitely see that running as a form of meditation. Even though it's not so quiet for me, because I'm usually always got music in my ears and whatnot, but I'm going to try with no music. Just try to take that time to actually meditate. Oh my God, I love that. That sounds like a t-shirt. Running is meditation in motion. I like that. That might just end up as a t-shirt. I might have to steal that one, Lauren. I like that. All right, it says, all right, so Gary has responded. It says, not a big vegan scene in Huntsville, Alabama. A few spots here and there. Mixed crowds, race/class at most spots. Bigger in the Nashville area. Okay. But you know what, I'm going to say this. I'm glad to see that it's kind of like a mixed crowd, because it's not that here in Philly. Even though sometimes you do find some situations where it is that mixed kind of situation, but not all the time. Hey, Andrew, thanks for this information. It says, very true. Meditation, fitness is fitness to both the body and brain. In Tai Chi, or I'm not sure how to pronounce. In Tai Chi, it's called stillness. Yes. I'm starting to see how all of this is kind of connected. And the more that we talk, and the more that you guys share some of your information or specialties about what it is that you do, or information that you have, I'm starting to see how it's all kind of connected. It's all kind of connected, and how it works. This is so interesting. Guys, I know I'm on here supposed to share my story and hopefully share a message or teach something or inspire. But you guys help me, because there's so much. Like, I would have never started this Facebook meditation group without Tracy jumping on here and sharing some of her information. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like, we need this. Vegans need this in our life. We need meditation in our life. Why not create a vegans who meditate Facebook group? And that's what we did. And so I get the benefit of learning from so many people. That's why I love comments, because I take the time to read them all. I keep my handy book here. I'm like, see, this is my book. I write my stuff down in my book. I keep notes so I can always refer back as a reference. So I love the fact that you guys are sharing. The more that you share, the more information, more reference stuff, and the fact that knowing that not one person knows it all, and that we're all gaining from each other is amazing. Yep. So I'm so glad that you guys joined me tonight. It is oh my goodness, 9:25. We had a great conversation. We've talked all things. I just hope that let me see. Oh, I hope you guys are gaining something from the information, not only the information that I have, but the information that others are posting. I really, truly, in my heart of heart, believe that by building a community of critical thinkers, people who are just plant-based folks who are thinking about more than what's just on the plate, we can spark something that's totally different from anywhere else on Facebook. Because most of the groups, most conversations that I see that I don't participate in, it's always about food. Now, don't get me wrong, food is important. It's a common thread between all human beings, and it's a common thread, especially within the vegan plant-based community. There's no doubt about it. But there is so much more. And I'm going to tell you something. I could simply jump on here and make say, hey, here's my latest chickpea dish. Now, from time to time, I will, do some recipes, but that is by far not going to be the focus of this particular show. We're going to do things that can help you in more ways than what you're putting in your mouth. So that's why I'm so glad that you guys are adding information. Oh, Jay, you saying, Jay has a question. Is there a need for healthy vegan restaurants in Philly? Well, you know what, Jay? There is actually, Philly, we have a ton of vegan restaurants. And the thing is, right here in Philly, I live in an area that is predominantly black. And it's not as recognized as some other parts of the city. That's where this whole segregation thing comes into play. But right here in my community, where I work at, we are blessed to have four within, I would say, a mile of each other. 4 on one basic strip, black-owned vegan restaurants. 4 that are all black-owned, run by women. That's 4 black-owned female vegan restaurants. That's amazing. That's amazing. Recently, we had Vegan Restaurant Week here in Philadelphia, and not one of them were listed or mentioned. Not one. Not one. And here's the catch. A couple of these restaurants have been around for over 20 years serving the black community, run by women. Run by women. Philly should be ashamed for not recognizing that these women are doing the hard work here in Philly without recognition. It's sad. But if I can do anything, I'm going to bring attention to the fact that Vegan Row, I call it Vegan Row here in Philly, has been underway for the last 20-something years without recognition. We're going to change that. And one of the restaurants is 100% raw. 100% raw restaurant. All raw, 100. Now, when I say run by black women, I don't mean. Let me say this. It's not fronted by black women. They are the owners. You know what I mean? It's not like the black women are in the kitchen. No, they're running these businesses, right? They're running these successful businesses. 'Cause like I said, they've been around for over 20 something years. A couple of them. That's amazing. That's amazing. Black owned, vegan centric restaurants right here in Philly, serving the black community for decades with no recognition from, you know, Restaurant Week that was here in Philadelphia, Philadelphia Magazine. There's so many outlets that could possibly highlight and spotlight these restaurants. But the thing is, you know what? They don't rely on that. They rely on the fact that they're serving their community, and our community serves them by patronizing these restaurants. That's why they've been around for years. Yes, they are healthy. They are healthy as well. Like I said, there's one restaurant that's 100% raw restaurant, and I'm gonna give you the name. So if you're ever in Philly, you can always look them up. One is called All the Way Live. All the Way Live is 100% raw restaurant. Full menu, desserts, entrees, appetizers. All right. Then we have the Nile. The Nile. This sister is making vegan duck. All right. This sister is making vegan duck. All right. And then we have the Flower Cafe. Been here for over 20 years. Then we have Linda's Vegetarian, which has some vegetarian, but also has some vegan options as well. Yes. And that's all on one strip. Isn't that amazing? Yes, many are comfort food restaurants, Jay. I do agree. In Philadelphia, even though we have tons of vegan restaurants, majority of them are comfort food restaurants, which is a polite way to saying they're not healthy vegan. It's not healthy vegan food. It's basically vegan junk food. You're right. That's what I call it. Let's call it what it is. No need to hide it. Oh, hey Corey, how are you? Thanks for checking in from Richmond, Virginia. You know, my parents lived in Virginia Beach for a while. I wasn't that on top of the vegan scene in that area when they lived there. But yeah, they lived in Virginia Beach for a while. What's going on? How's that vegan scene in VA? Yeah, guys, I'm so ecstatic about all the comments, the point of views, the suggestions, the questions that you guys have posted. It's absolutely amazing. I think we're reaching so many people. We're reaching so many people. It's great. And people are learning from your comments and commentary and questions and answers. Oh, I missed this here comment. Kimberly Russell. Philadelphia is known for its segregated everything. Absolutely. You know what? I love that. Philadelphia segregated everything. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Thanks for sharing that comment. Oh, hey Angel. Hey Angel, how are you? You said Ital. You're wondering what that is? You know what? I am going to ask that you look Ital up. Ital. Look that up. Yeah, it is a form of veganism, and it's rooted in Jamaica. And because a lot of people, and the reason we started talking about Ital is because people thought or think that veganism is for white people only, or believe when sometimes you bring it up, you say, oh, I'm vegan, and someone will respond, oh, that's for white people. If you look up ITAL, ITAL, and you'll find out when it started, where it started, and from whom started it, that'll change your thinking. Black people have been doing this. It's called vegan. We just claim that word. Been doing this plant-based food thing for a long time. And I'm going to tell you something about ITAL type of vegans. They're not even vegan. ITAL or is ITAL. That type of eating, which is no processed food. When I say no processed, I'm talking about no oil, nothing processed. Just read about that. Just do a little search, because we all have to do our homework. It's about clearing away the ignorance, like getting rid of it, like understanding more. And I always tell people, when you become plant-based or vegan or what have you, you automatically take on this vegan mantle of being like a vegan plant-based ambassador, where people just believe you know all. So we have to make sure that we are feeding our brains. That's a term I coined for myself. Continue to feed our brain. Make sure that we are not just feeding ourselves physically, feed ourselves mentally through meditation, through information. We have to know stuff. If we're going to be the change, if we want to see change, we got to know stuff, because people are coming to us asking questions. Because one thing I tell people, everybody wants to be healthy. Few people know how or why. And we have an opportunity to share the why. We have an opportunity, so when people say ignorant things like, oh, I thought veganism was for white people, they are cracking the door, and it's up to us to walk through and open that door and give them an explanation, to teach. It's more this vegan thing. That's why I refuse to get on here and do cooking demonstrations, or just go to a restaurant and do a live of me eating a sandwich. What? It makes no sense whatsoever. I will never go to a restaurant or go to a Whole Foods, buy a sandwich, and then sit there and talk about how good it is. That's insane. And how hard is that? That's nonsense. Who has time for that? If I ever do a review of food, I'm going to review its healthy content. Is it healthy? Should we be eating it? What are the ingredients? If you see someone just showing you just eating a burger or a sandwich and not talking about the benefits of that burger or sandwich, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting time. But definitely look up the word ITAL in relationship to veganism or Jamaica. It will blow your mind. Oh, hey, Mahogany. He says, I feel like unhealthy fried food is a phase, just like loving Moscato before enjoying a nice Cabernet. I think it takes people a while to get the taste out of their mouths. Yes, Mahogany, I absolutely agree. And I tell people that, you know what, I really don't have a problem. I really don't have a huge problem with the fact that when someone decides to change their lives, get off of meat products, to start by indulging in some of the processed vegan foods or vegan fried foods or what have you. But here's the thing. I tell people, like, this whole journey is like this big bridge that we got to get over. It's, you know what? It's like a bridge. And you start, at the beginning of the bridge is going to be vegan processed food, maybe some vegan fried food. But just like a bridge, that's where the journey begins. But we don't want to stop there. You do your thing there, but as you start to learn and develop, you start to leave that behind and you continue on your journey. That's where the problem is for those who continually promote unhealthy vegan food. It's a disservice, and we're not helping our community by doing that. let's call it what it is. It's a temporary stop along the journey as far as processed vegan food, fried vegan food, or unhealthy vegan junk food. But it is not something to be glorified. It is not something to be highlighted or spotlighted. It's something that should be meant to be temporary. And that's how I feel. All right, guys, it is, oh my God, it's 9:40. I usually go until about 9 o'clock, but it's been amazing. The comments are coming in, but do me a favor, guys, make sure that you're listing all your social media, anything, so we can all kind of be friends. Other vegans can follow you. People, you might have information that someone wants to link up with you later. Make sure you list this, because a lot of people usually replay this if they're working at night or what have you, or they just couldn't catch the live. So I'm hoping that you guys are posting information so we can make sure that other people have an opportunity to learn some stuff. Yes, I'm hoping that you guys post information, post your comments, your thoughts, your suggestions, answer other people questions, answer other people inquiries about what have you, if you have knowledge on that particular subject. Let's just keep the conversation going. Join me on every Monday from 7:30 to about 9 or around this time, East Coast time. Make sure you guys join me in my Facebook group, Vegans Who Meditate, as we talk meditation, veganism, and a whole slew of stuff. Tracy Cox, my co-moderator for that group, leads some meditation sessions. She does some live in there. I think you will find it enjoyable, especially if you're trying to strengthen your journey or strengthen your knowledge within this whole realm of being plant-based. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys next week. It's been a pleasure as always. I appreciate and love all of you. I hope that you guys join me next week. I'm going to try to do Mondays, 7:30 right here. Same place, same time. I'll see you then. Stay healthy. Peace.